Well, alright. It looks like the aliens have sent another batch of questions. So let's get started right away. Let's see what they sent us today. Alright. So let's begin. The first question, question 1, seems to be a trigonometry question. So let's dive straight into this. So question 1. Alright. So let's see if I can actually work out this question on the paper itself. So I could probably pull it in the middle here. Okay, so it seems that we have two parallel lines. Now, in my previous videos, the one just before this one, I told you that if you had two parallel lines and you were to slice the two parallel lines, you get a situation which we call alternating angles, better known as z-angles, which means that this angle and this angle is the same. Okay, so by just looking at this question here, there's a parallel line here and there's another parallel line here, which means that if this angle is 30, then this angle is also 30 degrees. So remember, they want us to find an expression, key word here in the multiple choice, an expression. An expression means we're not going to get a definite answer. The answer is not going to look really nice, right? So that's just to simplify it. For dB, where's dB? D to B. So if I draw back this triangle here, I only drew back this part here. I ignore the top line. Over here is 30 degrees. Here's your right angle. Here's B, C, and D. And they want to find an expression for this length here. And they gave us here as 12. Alright. So what's going to happen is that only the space here. I have a good feeling this is going to boil down to either sine, tan, or cosine. So if this is the angle inside the triangle, and keyword here is inside. You notice the first 30, the one that came with the question, was outside the right angle triangle. He was somewhere here. If you are dealing with triangles, you can only use the formulas if the angle is inside the triangle. So that's why I had to use the z angles or the alternating angle concept to get this 30 degrees, which is inside the triangle. So if I'm standing here, this side is my opposite, this side is my adjacent, and the side opposite the right angle is my hypotenuse. So it seems that I've been given information on the adjacent, and they want us to find dB, which is our hypotenuse. So the opposite has nothing to do with this question. So which of the trig formulas has adjacent and hypotenuse? I hope you all remember your trig formulas. You will need it. I believe this is cosine. Cos theta is adjacent divided by hypotenuse, right? So, and they want us to find dB, which is our hypotenuse. So if you are trying to find your hypotenuse, you block the h, and when you block the h, you are left with adjacent divided by cos theta. So let's put, and remember dB, our hypotenuse is really dB. So to find dB, we take the adjacent, which is 12, and we divide it by cos theta, and theta is the angle we are standing in. In the multiple choice exam, you should see this as one of the options, right? Either A, B, C, or D. This is your expression for this particular question. All right, so moving on to the next question. Question 2. All right, so the question 2 seems to be, well, not seems, it is a functions question. And they said find g minus 1. Well, g minus 1 is really g inverse if gx is equal to this. So let me explain something. G inverse, and we have 2. With functions, you usually work backwards, meaning that I have to take 2 and put it into not g, but G inverse. Now, I cannot put 2 into G inverse unless I have the inverse of G in the first place. So, for this question, we are going to have to find the inverse of Gx before we substitute 2 into it. So let's go ahead and find the inverse of Gx. So let's go through this quickly. Alright, I have limited space here, so I have to do some erasing while I do this. Alright, so when you're finding the inverse of a function, the first step is usually Gx, you erase it because Gx can be replaced with y. The next step is to switch x and y. Wherever you see a y, it changes to x. And wherever you see a x, it changes to y. Right? Like I said, I need the space, so I'm going to do the substitution right here. Here's a y. We are going to replace it with an x. And here's an x. So we are going to replace it with y. You will notice that when you do the switch, x is now the subject. For you to find the inverse, you have to make back y the subject, meaning that you want y on one side and everybody else on the other side. So x is the same thing as x on 1. Let's cross multiply. Anything by 1 is itself, so we get y minus 4, because y minus 4 multiplied by 1 is still y minus 4. Let's multiply the other diagonal. X by 5 is 5x. Remember, we are trying to make who the subject? Y. We're trying to get y on one side, everybody else on the other side. So it's really easy here. This minus 4, throw him across, becomes positive 4. So y is equal to 5x plus 4. Once you make back y the subject, you can erase the y now and put G inverse x. Let's clear some space here. Right. So now we have the inverse of G. And the question asks us to find G inverse 2. So they have a 2 here. So we can take the 2 now and substitute it into G inverse. And this is G inverse. So we have to go to this expression, erase x, and replace it with 2. And we work it out, and that's it. 5 by 2 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. Really, really simple. Alright? So I'm just double checking my work in here. Yep, it's correct. So that is question 2. And of course, you should see this somewhere as an option between A, B, C, and D. Alright. So guys, I know I've been receiving a lot of messages stating that I should put the A, B, C, and D answers. Guys, when it comes to a multiple choice, not having the A, B, C, and D doesn't take away from the value of the question. What is important? I know there are 4 answers, but only one answer is the correct answer. So what really matters is that we understand the question and we can work towards the correct answer, because at the end of the day, out of the 4, only one matters. And that is what these videos do. We're working towards that one answer. All right. So let me clear some space here for number 3. Number 3 is, it's a Venn diagrams question. I love these questions. And look at this one. This one actually has the A, B, C, and D. So I guess some of you will get your wish today. All right. So let's start off with this. And then we'll try to answer these questions here. Let's try to find the set P multiples of 3. Now this has multiples of 3. So this kind of goes on forever. So after a while, we'll need to stop at a certain point. So let's find P. Multiples of 3. What are the multiples of 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Now I'm going to stop now. There are more. This could go on and on. After that one would be 27. But I'm stopping up to 24 because I'm reading Q. And Q says factors of 24. So for Q, the biggest number would be 24. So what are some of the factors of Q? Well, I think that would be No, sorry, factors of 24. But I think that would be 1. 1 is a factor. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and well, 24 would also be a factor. What about the prime numbers? That's R. Well, let's do up all the prime numbers up to 24. 1 is not a prime number, remember that. So that would be 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. Right? So let's try to answer these questions here. I'm going to see if I can explain why each one is, why 3 of them are wrong. In A, they are saying P intersect Q is null, meaning that there's nothing common between P and Q. Well, at first glance, there is something common between P and Q. And that's just one example, right? There's another one here, 12. So P intersect Q is not a null or empty set. So that one is wrong, definitely, right? There are things common between P and Q. In B, they're trying to say Q intersect R is nothing. So in B, they are trying to say there's nothing common between Q and R. Let's see if that's true. At first glance, here's Q, here's R. There's something similar here, there's something similar here. So that is not an empty set. There are things similar between Q and R. Now, I actually know the answer for this one, right? So let's go and see why D is wrong. The number of people in Q intersect R is 3. Now, N stands for number of. They want to know how much similar items there are between Q and R. Is it 3? Q and R. 2 is common. The 3 is common. What else is common? Anything else common? Nope. I don't see anything else common between Q and R. So D would be correct. There are 2 similar items, 2 and 3. So if this was 2, it would have been correct. But they put 3, so this is wrong. So let's see if this one here is actually correct. What the number of similar items, so P intersect Q is 4. So let's see if there are 4 similar items between P and Q. 3 is definitely similar. Both of them have a 6. Anything else? Both of them have a 12 and both of them have a 24. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this one here is your correct answer. Alright, so that's the end of question 3. Alright, so before we move on to question 4, I just have 3 quick announcements to make. Right? Nothing big, no worry, I won't take up too much of your time. Alright. First of all, starting very soon, hopefully this week, I'll be also doing multiple choice for AdMaths and physics also. So that's the first thing I want to get out of the way. Alright. A lot of y'all know the second one already. If you want to join my free online classroom and you want the links for it, just WhatsApp me on this number and type Holy Spaghetti Rainbows and I'll send you the links. Alright. Now, over the years, I did a few multiple choice online exams, right? It's not much. I think it's just about 30 questions and all. But the nice thing about it, it's self-correcting exam. So all you have to do is do the multiple choice exam online, click submit, and when you click submit, it will auto-correct and give you your grade, right? Like I said, there's only 30 questions. But if you want me to send you the links for it, just WhatsApp me once again. And the code word for that one is Holy Marshmallow Monkeys. Just say that and I'll know which one. Now it's really important you type the correct code words, because the different code words will allow me to know which one to send, whether you want the online classroom links or you want the actual multiple choice online exams, right? If you want both, type both code words. Alright, so let's move on to the next question. Question 4. Alright. Question 4 is actually a functions question. Now, I just want to do some brief theory behind this one. First of all, let's deal with powers. If I have minus 2 to the power 3, squared, and then minus 2 to the power 3, and minus 2 to the power 4, and then minus 2 to the power 5. I know the question, but now I'll get to it. I just want to point out something with regards to the powers. You notice some of the powers are even numbers, like 2 is an even number and 4 is an even number. But 3 and 5 are odd numbers. Now, whenever you put in a negative number, in this case here it's -2, and you're putting it to a power, anytime the power is even, you will get a positive answer. Anytime the power is odd, you will get a negative answer. So 2 squared is positive 4. Minus 2 to the power 3. Now 2 to the power 3 means 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by next 2. You will get a 8. But it's a negative and the power is odd. So you will get -8. This one here is 2 to the power 4. It's an even number. So 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by next 2 will give me 16. Now I know it's an even power. And inside here is a negative, so I will come out with a positive answer. And how about this one here? 5 is an odd number. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by next 2 will give you 32. And because here is negative and here is an odd power, I know my answer will be negative. Right, so I just want to point out that to you. Alright. So number 4, this is the bubbles question. I'm sure you all saw in the exam, keep seeing in school. So you have a bubble here and a next bubble here. The first bubble is your domain, that is what you put in, and the other bubble is the range, that is what comes out. So here we have a function, right, f(x), and it's going to be x to the power 5. So what are the numbers that we are putting in? That's the domain. -3, -2, -1, 0, and 1. So all we are really doing is putting each number inside here one by one. So all I'm going to do is put -3 into this. So if I take, well, the function they gave us is x to the power 5. So if it's x to the power 5 and I erase the x and I replace the x with -3, remember 3 to the power 5, 3 to the power 5 is 243. But because the power is odd, because number 5 is an odd number and here is a negative, you will get -243. Right? So -3 gives us -243. And of course, we're going to do the same thing for the -2. Put the -2 inside here. Now, if you put -2, if you replace this x with -2 and then put it to the power 5, you will get 32. But because it's a negative and the power is odd, you're going to get -32. Alright guys, so I think you get the hang here. Put -1 inside here. -1 to the power 5 is -5. Put the 0 here. 0 to the power 5 is 0. And 1 to the power 5 is still 1. Alright, so this is the answer. Well, let me erase this here. So when you're looking for your answer in the multiple choice between A, B, C, and D, you should see this option somewhere there. Just keep in mind, domain is what you put in, range is what you get out. Input, output. And pay special attention to powers. When you're taking a negative number and putting it to a power, ask yourself, is the power even or odd? That will determine whether it's negative or positive. Alright, so let's go to the next question here. Number 5. Alright, so number 5 seems to be a y equals mx plus c question. So, number 5. The equation of a straight line, y is equal to mx plus c. M is your gradient. C is your y-intercept. Right? Basic stuff. So they gave you this equation here. -2y plus 8 is equal to 5x. Now the common mistake is this. students think whatever is touching x is your gradient. I mean, it's a fair assumption. So they will look at this and look for x and then see the number 5 touching the x, just like how the m is touching the x here. And they will say the gradient is 5. That is actually wrong. For you to figure out m and c, y must be the subject. In other words, y alone must be on one side, alone keyword, and everybody else must be on the other side. So before I can identify m and c, I have to make who the subject? Y. So let's do that. I'm going to throw across positive 8 to get minus 8. So I throw it across so I can erase this. This is no longer here. I threw him across. And now it's time to get rid of the minus 2. Now the minus 2 is a secret multiply. When you throw across a multiply, you get a divide. So I have to divide everybody on this side by minus 2. Remember, when you throw across the multiply, the sign does not change. So this is what we have so far. Right? So the 2 is on the other side. But we have a little problem. You see how in the above case here, how the m and c is separated from the c, they're separate? Over here, both of them are being held hostage by the minus 2 because both of them are being divided by minus 2. I'm not too sure if you're familiar with this in maths. If I have a plus b and I divide it by c, so one big divide sign, did you know you could write it like this? A plus b and separately divide everyone on top by c. So this really means everybody on top gets divided by c at the same time. So I'm going to apply this concept to this. Both of them at the same point in time get divided by minus 2. So you can imagine it like this instead. So you have 5x minus 8 and both of them at the same point in time get divided by minus 2. So let's divide this. Well, 5 divided by 2 is, well, when you divide two negatives, you're going to get a positive. And 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. Well, positive 2.5. Right? Obviously, if I don't write the positive, it's positive. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Divide two negatives, you will get a positive. So you're going to get positive 4. Alright? Let's make it a note here. Alright. So now this is separated from this. And y is the subject. So what is touching x? Well, 2.5 is touching x. So m is your gradient. So somewhere between a, b, c, and d, you should see 2.5. Now if they had asked you how much is your y-intercept, your y-intercept or c would be positive 4. Alright, so that's question 5. Alright, we're doing well. Question 6. Oh, median. I love these kind of questions. Median means middle. So let's write down these questions here. 8. These numbers, sorry. Minus 2, minus 3, 1, 4, minus 2, 11, and 0. First things first. Whenever you have a median question, you have to arrange the numbers from smallest to largest. So let's find the smallest number here. Minus 3, I think, is the smallest number here. Remember, the more negative it is, the smaller it is. So the smallest number is minus 3. What's the next smallest number? Minus 2, and the next minus 2. So minus 2, minus 2. After that, 0. So 1, 4, 8, and then 11. Alright. So we have arranged the numbers from smallest to largest. What we're going to do is start clipping. I'm going to cross out somebody on this side, then cross out somebody on this side. So basically it's 1 for 1, and we're going to narrow down till we reach the middle. So cross out the minus 3, he gets gone to. Minus 2, he gets gone to. Minus 2, the 4 gets going. But we end up with how much numbers in the middle? I can't cross out the 0 and the 1, because if I cross out the 0 and the 1, you will have no more numbers left and we won't have an answer. So anytime you're left with two numbers in the middle, you have to find the average of the two numbers, or the mean of the two numbers, which means you just add the two numbers in the middle, which is 0 and 1, and divide it by how much numbers you have, which is 2. So 0 plus 1 divided by 2 will give me a half. So the median is a half. Okay? Alright, so type A. There are only 6 questions. Don't the aliens know that for me to do a proper video, I need at least 10 videos for every episode? I have to go and look for questions now. So give me a few seconds, guys. Let me just go and look for a few questions here. Aliens. Boy, no for time traveling. They really love this. Alright, so boy. Alright, there must be some questions around inside here. Boy. Hey, where did these questions come from? They were probably here all the time. I'm getting old. Oi. Alright, so let's continue. Number 7. Oh, number 7 is like a matrices type of question. So, if A prime, well A dash, I usually call it A dash, but the real name is A prime, is the image of A under the translation T, which is minus 5, 3, find A dash. Alright, so let's put this in a mathematical equation form. They said that you had the point A. Then you applied a translation. When you're applying a translation, you just add the translation. And the name of the translation is T. So they said when you take A and apply T, you get A prime. Okay? So you can also say that A was mapped. Here the key word, A was mapped or moved to or changed to A prime. And what caused that? T. So let's put the actual values in. Oh, this is number 7. I should write number 7. A is how much? A is minus 1, 4. That's this guy here. We are applying the translation minus 5, 3. And when we do that, we get A prime. Now, we don't know A prime, right? We don't know the values of A prime. So we're just going to call it X and Y. Right, so let's double check it here. E is under the translation. Right, so this is a super easy question. To find A prime, we just have to add the two matrices here. Add the top to the top and the underneath to the underneath. Minus 1 plus 5. Remember, well, this is science, I think, that they're trying to trick you with here. So let's do it step by step. I'm going to write it big and then I'll scale it down. Minus 1. Number we're adding, and then we have minus 5 there. So the trick is here, a plus and a minus will give you a minus, and underneath is 4 plus 3. Well, that's easy, 4 plus 3. So I'm just going to write the answer on this side here, right? Minus 1 minus 5 is minus 6, and 4 plus 3 is 7. So this is the answer you're going to look for in the multiple choice selection. Alright, that's a super easy question, right? But I'm looking at question 8 here now, and 8 is the harder version of this one. So let's get started with number 8. Alright, so I guess the aliens really knew what they were doing, right? Question 7 is setting the stage for question 8. 8. So, if B is the image of A, right? So B comes after A, after you apply the translation. So let's put it in just letters form. So you have A, you apply the translation, and that gives you B, right? So A is minus 1, 5. You are applying a certain translation which we don't know, and the image is B. In other words, we get B. which is minus 3 minus 7. We are trying to solve for x and y. So all we need to do is take this and throw it across on the other side. Now keep in mind there's a secret positive here. So when you throw across the positive, you're going to get a negative. So you have minus 3 minus 7 waiting. You throw across this and it becomes minus 1, 5. So we can do this pretty quickly. And then we'll have x and y. Minus 3 minus minus 1. Two negatives will touch to give you a positive. So minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. And minus 7 minus 5 is minus 12. And this is the final answer you're going to be looking for in the multiple choice. Alright guys, 2 more questions. Not going bad at all. Alright. Question 9. Alright, so question 9. So question 9, like I said, is a Venn diagrams question. So let's see if we can do this quickly. There are 2 sets, A and B. We have that. They said A intersect B is 3. So that's pretty easy. The 3 is going to go inside there. Let me use a different color. So the 3 is going to go in between. I think the intersect is always the easiest. Then they said A union B, this is the union symbol, is 18. So that means if you add up everything in A and B, if you add up this and this, if you add up 1, 2, 3, if you combine everything, you're supposed to get 18. Right, so I'm going to remove these sticks. And number of items in A is 8. Now, you got to be careful. Does that 8 go inside or does that 8 go outside? If they said the number of items in A only, and they use the word only, then the number goes inside. And that 8 would represent only up to the boundary. It will not include the 3. Whenever they don't use the word only, like in this question, the 8 actually goes outside. So whenever the number goes outside, it refers to the whole circle. So this 8 is the entire circle, which means if here is 3, over here has to be 5. You just minus the 2 of them. So 5 plus the 3 will give us back the 8. So something is missing in this diagram. We don't have a value here, but it's really easy to figure out. Remember we said if we add everybody, 1, 2, and 3, we were supposed to get 18. So 5 plus 3 plus x is supposed to give us 18. 5 plus 3 is 8. And this is really easy. Well, if we solve for x, you throw across positive 8 to get minus 8. And of course, we're going to get 10, right? Because 8 plus 10 will give us 18. So I don't think I need to go in detail with that one. So here is 10. So the question now asks us, find number of items in B. A lot of students would say, well, I'm finished there. So the answer is obviously 10. But that 10 is B only. They ask us for B, the whole B circle. So the whole B circle is 10 plus the 3, which is actually 13. Common mistake and a common trick they try on you in the exam. So don't fall for these tricks, guys. Okay, question 10, our last question. All right, guys, we're almost out of here. So let's erase this here. 10. This one here is, let me put this in the middle here. This is the area of our trapezium. So the area of a trapezium is the sum of the parallel sides. So S1 and S2 are the parallel sides, multiplied by the vertical height divided by 2. So that's the area, that's the formula that you need for number 10. So the area of this trapezium is 400. So I'm going to replace the A with 400. The sum of the parallel sides, you notice that's in brackets. So these are the 2 parallel sides. Sorry, I should have put this. 20 plus 8. Those are the 2 parallel sides. So add them and you get 28. Well, I don't really need to put the brackets now. It's just one item. multiply by the vertical height. We do not know the vertical height, which is h, which is the aim of the question, and then we divide by 2. We are trying to solve for h. This is the same thing as 401. Let's cross multiply. 28 by h multiplied by 1 is just 28h, because anything multiplied by 1 is itself, and 400 by 2 is 800. H is 800 divided by 28. So we just need to reduce that. 800 divided by 28, well, will be 28 and 4/7, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I'll leave it up to you just to reduce it. And let's double check in the answer. 28 multiplied by 7 plus 4. That's not 28 multiplied by 7 plus 4, right? So yeah, that is the answer there, right? So all right, so let's double check in something here. 800 divided by 28. Yep, the answer is correct. So this here was basically knowing the formula for the area of a trapezium and being able to cross multiply and solve for the vertical height. A very popular type of question in your multiple choice exams. Alright guys, so I really hope these 10 questions were useful, and guys, look out for my next video. This whole week, this whole month, I'm going to be making multiple choice question videos one after the other. Any free time I get, I'm making them. So don't forget to subscribe, and of course share, like, and leave comments at the below the video. And of course, thank you for watching. Take care.